Hi everyone, it's Jerry Moore here at headquarters for PhoneSuite, and I want to thank all of you for making time to join in our webinar. We do these webinars about every 6 weeks or so in an effort to offer up discussions and information around the hospitality properties and in particular voice technology, as things here keep changing very rapidly as it does with all technology. So today's topic is, does my hotel need call accounting? And here to present this topic is a man that's uniquely qualified for this particular topic and hotel topics in general, Frank Melville. He's an engineer by trade, having grown up actually in a hotel. He's also a hotelier from the ground up and has been involved specifically with writing call accounting programs for some time. He speaks to a variety of different audiences on all kinds of technology. And working here with Frank daily, I can attest to the fact that he loves to hear himself talk. So with that going on, I will turn this over to Frank and let him do what he does best, and we'll talk to you again at the end of the webinar. Frank?
Thanks a lot, Jerry. I appreciate the introduction, and yeah, I guess that last bullet point is the one that's the most obvious about me. I do love to hear myself talk. So let's jump into the topic today. But before we start talking about whether or not your hotel needs call accounting anymore, full disclosure, a couple things you need to know. Number one, my first little startup company, we designed and sold call accounting to hotels specifically. And my second job ever, a job working for someone else ever, I designed call accounting for one of the industry leaders. And my current employer, as part of the full disclosure, makes a call billing system that's built into the PBX. And as Jerry already told you, current employer is PhoneSuite. They're the sponsor of these webinar series. And it's going to be a 10-second advertisement if you want to consider this page advertisement. But PhoneSuite's US-based, established in '88, and has been doing hotel phone systems for 15 years. That's all we do, hotel phone systems with, for today, built-in call billing. And we'll talk about call billing versus call accounting in a minute. But there's more than 4,500 hotels in North America that are using PhoneSuite as the voice solution for their hotel. That's pretty impressive with 56,000. We've definitely built ourselves up. And we offer not only traditional PBXs where everything's in a box and it's simple and it just works, but it's the older technology, up to the most current hosted VoIP-based systems along with hybrids and everything in between. So there's your commercial, and let's go on with the webinar. Why this topic? Does my hotel even need call accounting anymore? Well, we're hearing from people out in the field that they're not purchasing or using call accounting anymore. And it got us to thinking, well, if they're not using it, they must either need it and be going without something, or they must not need it. And that's the big question. Does your hotel need call accounting? And to examine that, we're going to look at the reasons we're hearing from the field why these hoteliers are not using call accounting anymore. So reason number one that we hear is, well, nobody's using the guest room phone anymore. Nobody's making billable calls. Why would I want a call accounting system if nobody's making billable calls? And you drill down into that a little bit, and you find out that, well, two things happen. Number one, the obvious one that we all know about, is the cell phone. With the advent of the cell phone, and especially the unlimited minute cell phone plans that everybody has now, and the fact that local and long distance are all the same, why would you pick up a guest room phone to make a call and pay for it when you can do it for free with your cell phone? Pretty simple. But add to that another factor, and that is the history we have in our industry of overbilling guests for phone calls. Back in the day when I started my first little company, we used to charge people $2.50 a minute, or maybe even in some hotels $5 a minute for what was costing 25 cents a minute. Think about charging somebody $20 for a bottle of water in their room. And that's what we were doing with call accounting. And for some reason, despite the fact that the laws of supply and demand and the actual cost of the calls would dictate that we should have lowered our rates, most hotels have not lowered the rates. So I used to joke that if you walk too close to a phone in a hotel guest room, you'll get charged for it. That's contributing to this this factor of nobody using the guest room phone. The second reason that we're hearing from people is, well, local and long distance phone calls, they're the same now. There's no difference, and it's so cheap. So because it's so cheap, Number one, some brands are requiring or trying to use it as a marketing gimmick and saying, hey, you can't bill for local or long-distance calls. You got to give those away free. So there's no possibility of generating revenue off the calls, and they say, okay, I don't need a call accounting system then. The other is because local and long-distance calls are so cheap. Alluding back to the last slide, guests know that local and long-distance is practically free these days, penny a minute maybe. They know this and they complain. We're nickel-ing and diming them to death, especially if we charge them $1 a minute or $1 for a local call that we may not even be paying for ourselves. So that's got reason number two why hotels are no longer using call accounting systems, or some are no longer using them. And the third thing we hear is the imbalance. Basically, it costs more to buy and maintain a call accounting system than they can possibly generate in phone revenue in a year. And just a quick example that we've heard, like, hey, it's $2,000 for a phone system, plus they want $300 or $500 a year to keep it running, and I'm getting $10 a month out of my phone revenue. That's just not going to cut it. Even $25 a month, that doesn't even pay for the service contract on it. So they go without, and some of them we say, well, if you go without, what do you do about the calls? And some just block the billable calls, some give them away free. It's a variety of approaches, but they know that they are better off financially to either block or just give them away free than to buy and maintain the call accounting system, as they say. So those are the reasons, the main reasons we're hearing why hoteliers are telling us they don't need a call accounting system or a call billing system with their PBX. And that's not what we're here for today, to hear what others are doing. Obviously, the question remains, does your hotel need a call accounting system anymore? And the shorter answer is, well, most are still using it. That doesn't really tell us anything. Most are still using it, but that's not a reason to continue using it. The real reason is it has other value, and we're going to look at some of that other value here. But as we look through that other value, there's a simple test you can do that we'll tell you about at the end of this, the next few minutes here. And through this simple test, you'll know whether or not your hotel needs call accounting anymore. Very simple, and we'll make it very clear to you. So let's jump into this. Here are the obvious reasons why your hotel does need call accounting. The first is the obvious one that we all know about. If you want to bill guests for calls, if you want to either recoup the costs or have it be a revenue center, you need a call billing system to calculate the cost of the call and send it onto the PMS and put it on their folio, or print out a report as they check out and bill them for the calls. The second is, if you have international calling needs, if you have international guests, the rates for international calling are still quite high, and it's probably not reasonable to give away international calls free yet. May someday, but yet. And so if you're going to have a lot of international guests who want to use a phone to call back home, you need a call accounting system, obviously, to recoup those costs. The third big one is it's required by your franchisor. And we see this especially in the higher end brands. They still require a call billing system and a PMS interface. Don't know the reason behind them requiring the franchisees to bill for calls, but it remains a requirement in the standards and specs for many of the brands. And then the last obvious reason is the management reports. There's all kinds of reports you can get with a true call accounting system, not just a call billing system, but a call accounting system. You can track your trunk usage, see if you have the right number of trunks in the hotel. Am I paying $40 a month for 3 trunks that never get used? If so, a call accounting system can tell you that. You need to watch what your employees are doing, who's making the longest calls, who's abusing the system, who's calling on personal calls all the time, and then track department costs. If you want to associate phone call costs into different departments for management or for the accounting department, you need a call accounting system to do that. So the not so obvious reasons are next, and we ask many of our friends who do call accounting in the industry, because although we do call billing, we do not do call accounting, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But our friends at Genesis, a shout out to Nathan and Lisa up there. They jumped in and gave us some very not so obvious reasons. 15-second plug on Genesis. We like Genesis because as the world moves toward hosted, and it's not there yet, but as it moves toward hosted, Genesis has created a method with their software-based call accounting solution to allow it to be hosted in the cloud. So that if you have a hosted PBX, you can also have a hosted call accounting solution in the cloud, and it'll still interface with your property management system. So that's the folks at Genesis, and you can see them on our partner page or on their website. But Genesis gave us these reasons. Number one, if your PBX is old and doesn't create an alarm when someone dials 911, even though the call accounting system won't know about it till the call ends, at least it will receive the fact that someone made a 911 call and can alarm the front desk. That's really important. It's kind of shame on you if you still have a PBX that doesn't alarm you with 911 calls the moment they're made, like our product does and many others. But if yours doesn't, you need to know when a 911 call is made, and a true call accounting system can provide those alarms. The second is some hotels use the call accounting solution, and Genesis does this, but to tell you about the room status updates, to maybe interface the room status to the property management system if the PBX doesn't, or to do maid productivity tracking, so you can track in and out times for maids in rooms with a call accounting system. If they dial a code as they enter and then dial another code as they exit, you know how long the maids were in each room. The third is on your call center, let's say your reservation center or even at your front desk, to monitor how long it takes them to answer an incoming call to take a reservation or just answer a call at the front desk. Are you providing the kind of customer service that your brand or you dictate should be provided? You obviously don't want people on hold for a long time. You lose them that way. The next not so obvious reason is to analyze advertising effectiveness. What do we mean by that? Well, there are a lot of properties, and we have a brand that's standardized on our system that does exactly this. You put out an ad or put up a billboard and put a special 800 number on it. It still rings into your PBX, but you need to track how many calls came to that specific number. And a call accounting system can give you that. It gives you a peg count of how many calls came as a result of your last advertising campaign if you use a unique number for calling in. And the last one, and I forgot about this, but this happened to us. Sometimes you need to get at the call records for the police or for some kind of compliance, and this did happen to us. There was an actual murder in a hotel that was using our system, and the police had them send the system back to us so we could comb through all the call accounting records and provide every phone call that went out of that room in a 24-hour period. Does that happen all the time? No, but sometimes you do need that. So here are the not so obvious reasons. I'm sure there are more, but these are the ones we came up with in our exhaustive research over the last day. So what's the test now? How do I know if my hotel needs a call accounting system? And it's a really simple litmus test. We just gave you the answers, basically. The answer is you don't need call billing or call accounting if you can answer no to all of the reasons that you do. What do we mean, all the reasons that you do? Just what we went through. So you don't need it if you can say no to every single one of these. No, I don't want to recoup guests. I don't have a call center revenue expectation. I don't allow international calling. My franchise doesn't require it. Management doesn't want any reports. And the not so obvious, the PBX does alarm on 911 calls. Call accounting isn't needed for the room status. I don't need to monitor what my agents are doing at all. I don't need to monitor advertising, and I can't foresee a need to actually have to produce records. If you can answer no to all of these on those two circle bullets, you don't need call accounting. And that's the simple litmus test answer. So I promised a short webinar today, or did we? I hope we did, because that's a pretty short webinar. That's pretty much wrapping it up. I do have an idea for you based on your thought right now. Do I need call accounting for my hotel? Here's a little idea. How about this? How about you put tent cards by the phones, or maybe even advertise it at the front desk, that you have super low long distance rates. They could still be triple what you pay. If you're paying 2 cents a minute and you charge 8 cents a minute, you could still, that's quadruple, right? You could still have a great markup. See what happens. See if that increases the uptake on the use of the guest room phone. Again, we trained people to stop using the phone in their room to make outbound calls. Maybe if we trained them that it's not so painful anymore, that would work. So there's the end of our little Does My Hotel Need Call Accounting webinar. Hope you found it a little bit informative. You're welcome to call us. You're welcome to look at this further. I am going to open it up to questions. If you click on the questions tab and type in a question, I will get questions right here on my desk. So, and some are popping up now, and comments too. Great job, helpful. If I use SIP trunking, why would I need call accounting? Good question. SIP trunking is very, very inexpensive. So any of those reasons we gave, other than billing the guest for the call, 911 tracking, you need to look at what your staff are doing. You're trying to track advertising, etc. All those answers, you would need call accounting for it. Next question. I thought PhoneSuite had built-in call accounting. Yes, it has what we call built-in call billing. And let me just go to one of these slides back here so we can review that. Yes, PhoneSuite has built-in call billing. It does these first three bullet points. It allows you to set rates and bill the calls. It interfaces the PMS. If you have international guests, they'll bill them too. If your franchise requires it, it will certainly meet that requirement. But it doesn't have extensive management reports. In fact, the reports are basically night audit reports and a guest bill for each guest as they check out if you wanted to print it. Our more advanced platform also has a complete SQL database you can get at and export to Excel if you want to look at your own reports. But these first three are our call billing system. Everything else is true call accounting that you would get from one of our partners. And that includes these other things too. We do not, on the call accounting side built into our system, that's not what creates the 911 alarm. The PBX does. And all these other things it does not do. Good question. Does PhoneSuite handle wake-up calls through voicemail or through the call accounting system? It's not neither. PhoneSuite's integrated platforms, wake-up systems, are built into the PBX platform itself, all of them, from the original PhoneSuite 64 up through VoiceWare in the Series 2. The wake-up system is part of the PBX, and we have a lot more control and more power for that. Here's another one. It looks like smaller economy hotels are the ones who don't need call accounting. Yeah, that's probably what we're seeing, is that the smaller hotels, the economy hotels, they don't have international travelers. They give away everything, give away breakfast, parking, etc. People are just used to that. They're the ones I think that's right, we're probably not using call accounting more than the larger hotels. Obviously more advanced, or excuse me, more upscale hotels, they bill for everything. They also have probably more of a need for management reports. Okay, here's a funny one. How much did you sell your first call accounting company for? You know what? I don't mind answering that question. The deal I did to sell that first company, based on pro formas provided to me by the company that was buying me out, was going to be $2 million, and I was so excited. I was a young man. I was going to take all this money to the bank, buy a Ferrari, etc. It was a royalty and small monthly payments deal, and it was going to be based on the growth of the company. The company I sold it to actually shrank the sales. In fact, they didn't take them long to discontinue the product in favor of another product that they were selling. I think I got $60,000 over 3 years. There you go. There's your answer. Anything else? Okay, thanks everyone for attending. If you see here our contact information, you also see youtube.com, the PhoneSuite channel, the PhoneSuite. If you go to that YouTube channel in about a week, this will be up there, as are many of our other webinars. So thank you for attending, and we will do this again in the next few weeks. Bye-bye.